Hey guys, Bios and Ramos and the Miami Dolphins fell for the second straight time. This time coming against another AFC North divisional opponent in the Cincinnati Bengals. Final score of 45-21. Man, this Dolphins team did not look great today. Defensively, Joe Burrow picked them apart in the passing game. It just seemed like the Dolphins couldn't get a true stop on defense. And then offensively, even though Ewers didn't look all too bad, couldn't elevate to make the next level plays. He was very consistent in terms of not putting the ball in a jeopardizing position. On top of that, he would put it where it was either the receiver's ball or no one's ball a good amount of times. Ended up with 2 interceptions. First one, I wouldn't really put it against him. Ball got tipped up. Second one, a little bit more on Ewers' side. Tried throwing it one-on-one along the sideline, and the DB came down with the football. And that was pretty much the last thing I saw of this game, because it was a blowout. It was Bengals put up 21 points in the third quarter. It was not great, honestly. But the Dolphins still got 2 more games left to play, so still some football to talk about. We're gonna do the team stats. No highlight today. I don't think you guys want to see the Bengals just absolutely dunking on the Dolphins. And then we'll go over the box score, and then go over the keys to victory and how the Dolphins either did or did not achieve that. So let's start with some of the team stats. Bengals had 23 first downs to the Dolphins 19. Third down efficiency, Bengals were 6 of 12, so converted on 50% of their third down attempts. Meanwhile, the Dolphins were 2 of 10. Bengals 1-1 on fourth down. Dolphins 1 of 2. Let's keep it moving. Bengals had 407 total yards of offense. Dolphins had 389. Let's keep it moving to red zone. The Bengals were 6 of 6 going into the red zone, so the Dolphins were 2 of 2. Not too many penalties in this one. 2 penalties for 10 yards for the Bengals, 3 penalties for 20 for the Dolphins. Dolphins also committed 3 turnovers. They had a fumble loss and 2 interceptions thrown. Time of possession, 31 minutes and 32 seconds for the Bengals, 28 minutes and 28 seconds for the Dolphins. Now, like I said, no highlight in this one. We're just going to go straight into the box score. Joe Burrow went 25 of 32, 309 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Was sacked twice for a loss of 11 total yards. Joe Flacco even got in. He completed 1 pass for 4 total yards. For the Dolphins, Quinn Ewers went 20 of 30, 260 yards, and 2 interceptions, but was not sacked a single time. Rushing, the Bengals had 105 yards on the ground, led by Chase Brown, 12 carries for 66 total yards. He had a rushing touchdown, and he also had 2 receiving touchdowns, which we'll talk about in a second. Samaje Perine, 7 carries for 25 total yards and a touchdown. Outside of that, not too much impact there from the Bengals. For Miami Dolphins, 129 yards on the ground. Devon Achane had 15 carries for 81 total yards and a touchdown, longest of 48. Jalen Wright had 9 carries for 35 total yards and a touchdown. And then we can also include Malik Washington, 1 carry for 9 yards and a touchdown. Let's keep it moving to receiving. Bengals had 313 receiving yards, led by Jamar Chase, 9 receptions for 109 yards. Following that was T. Higgins, 3 receptions for 53 total yards and a touchdown. Had a really big catch for 35 yards and boxed out the Dolphins defense on that one. There was 2 guys on him and still came down with that one. So big time grab by him. Moving on, we have Chase Brown, 4 receptions for 43 yards, but 2 touchdowns. So half of his catches were for touchdowns. Longest of 23. Mike Gesicki found his way into the end zone, former Dolphin. 3 receptions for 35 total yards and a touchdown. And let's keep it moving. We'll talk about the Dolphins now. They had 260 receiving yards, led by Jalen Waddle. 5 receptions for 72 total yards. After that was Greg Dulcich for 3 receptions for 46. Darren Waller, 3 receptions for 40. Theo Weiss Jr., 2 receptions for 32. Not too much to mention following that. Fumbles. Myles Murphy recovered a fumble lost by Greg Dulcich. Jalen Waddle fumbled. Alec Ingold also jumped on top of it. Let's keep it moving. Defensively, the Bengals' leading tackler was Jordan Battle with 10 total tackles, 6 solo. Following that was DJ Ivy with 5 total, 3 solo, 1 pass deflection. Some key stats now. Myles Murphy had 1 tackle for a loss and a QB hit. Dax Hill had a pass deflection. Jalen Davis had a tackle for a loss and a pass deflection. Joe Giles Harris had a pass deflection. Shamar Stewart with a tackle for a loss. BJ Hill with a QB hit. And same for Cam Sample. And same for Isaiah Foskey. And last but not least, Josh Newton had a pass deflection. Now for the Miami Dolphins, Jordan Brooks leading the Dolphins in tackling once again. 14 total tackles, 5 solo, 1 pass deflection. Almost came down with the interception. It was a really nice pass break up there by him. Could have, swayed how this game ended up going down the stretch with an interception early on in the game there, but fortunately could not get 2 hands on that one. Tyrell Dodson, 8 total tackles, 5 solo, and a QB hit. Rasul Douglas had a pass deflection. Let's keep on going. Kenneth Grant and Chop Robinson combined for half a sack each. Zach Sealer also had a sack and a tackle for a loss. All those guys also had a QB hit. Let's keep it moving. Ashton Davis with a tackle for a loss. Quentin Bell with a QB hit. That pretty much rounds it out for defense. Not the best defensive performance for the Dolphins. I mean, they allowed Joe Burrow to pass for 4 touchdowns, so let the guy popped off real quick there. Barrett Carter came down with an interception, returned it for 16 yards. And then Jalen Davis also came down with one with no return yards. Not going to go too deep into all the kicking stats. We'll just talk about the actual kickers. Evan McPherson went 1 for 1 on field goals. It doinked off and still went in for 45 total yards. And then he also went 6 for 6 on extra points. Riley Patterson 3 for 3 on extra points. And then that's about it. Let's talk about punting. Ryan Recknow, 4 total punts, 208 yards, 4 of which were in the 20, longest of 59. Jake Bailey, 4 total punts, 201 yards, 1 was a touchback, and 2 were in the 20, longest of 62. So let's talk about the keys to victory and how the Dolphins pretty much did not achieve it. The one thing they did achieve was protecting Quinn Ewers, given he did kind of like roll out, scramble out of the pocket a good amount, but they made it easy for him in terms of, there will be some pressure, but we're going to block as best as we can. So kudos to the Miami Dolphins offensive line. I think they did their job today, did not let Quinn Ewers have too much trouble back there. He did have some pressure, but he was able to deliver on some of those throws, and that's exactly what you're looking for when a quarterback is in play for you. Defensively, could not get to Joe Burrow. That's very unfortunate. They did not limit Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They were the leading receivers for the Bengals. But just lots of defensive lapses, and it was unfortunate, and that's why we got such a high total from the Bengals with 45 total points. Now, last but not least, they ran the football. Devon Achane got 81 total yards. They had to stray away from the running game at some point just because the game started just getting out of hand, and then it got even more out of hand because then interception happened, and then you can pretty much put a bookend on that. Outside of that, not the best performance for the Dolphins, but they did exactly what they needed to do in terms of the future-wise, and did not win this one. And hopefully the Dolphins don't win any more games this season just so they can continuously improve on that draft positioning. At this point in time, there's still lots of games going on, so there's no real point of trying to update you guys with the status of where they're standing at, but just know the more and more losses the Dolphins pile up, the better it is that they will have a high draft pick. Outside of that, Tua was suited up, so I was surprised that he actually was in uniform for this one. Typically, when they demote someone to emergency QB, they're more than likely just not even in uniform and stuff like that, and just street clothes. But no, he was fully kitted up in his uniform, and it was kind of strange to see him on the sideline personally. But that's part of the game right now, and that's where the Dolphins' direction was trying to head towards. I like what I saw from Ewers, honestly. He wasn't too bad out there. Just couldn't make those next level plays. He was able to connect with guys. He was able to put the ball in positions for players to make plays on it. He had a really good repertoire with Jalen Waddle. Outside of that, there was a few moments where he would put the ball in places where heavily contested DBs were there, and that's where you got those interceptions from. Outside of that, didn't play too bad. Clean day in terms of getting brought down. I think they only got how many hits on him? 4 QB hits on him. So, relatively not so bad of a day in terms of him being in the backfield passing there. But yeah, it was fun to see what he brought to the table, and honestly would like to see more and see what else he could bring to the table. But outside of that, not a bad performance. Just outmatched by the Cincinnati Bengals team, which they have something to fight for in terms of just like spiritually, like they got all their guys healthy. This is the result that should have happened for this Bengals team, and it's exactly what it did, at least offensively. But yeah, pretty nothing burger game for this Dolphins team, and hopefully next week the one against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers isn't too bad. Outside that, fun time in the Dolphins game as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next week. Peace.